Gonna be looking for that last Varus spam before now hovering for their first pick potential. A lot of power picks on the table. We saw one of them, Annie, Vi, another one potentially as well for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, it really is coming down to what do you still value in this matchup or in the total game, and it's so much just point-and-click crowd control that has been strong recently. Going to be looking to grab the Annie once again. We did see it pick up a win being played by Ignar in our previous game, and has a lot of opportunities to be successful up against Bolulu. But Bolulu also loves playing a lot of these setup champions. Doesn't matter as much if he gets put behind a little bit in lane.
I think there's an inside joke that we don't know about. Both Tenacity and Revenge started hovering Aurelia and Gnar.
Oh, you don't understand? Oh, I guess you're not a top laner.
Well, no, I'm not.
It's code. What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day this evening?
Really?
No.
Oh. Okay.
We're going back. It's going to be probably a Xayah Rakan coming through. Nah, I mean, there's just a top lane conspiracy. We do push waves back and forth towards each other so that we can both farm, but we don't have a hover like communication to go through. But it's the Xayah Rakan coming through. Not currently going for IMT, and you already have so much raw damage, you have so much dive potential coming through. The big question is, are you going to commit to that, or are you just going to let Tactical do his own thing? It appears the answer is yes. This is a ton of pressure coming through for IMT onto DoubleLift.
Everyone is going to be diving on to the main carry for 100 Thieves in this game. Immortals, we know how potent a Vi-Ahri combo can be. And usually whenever you do see a Vi locked in, you want to see follow-up engage, because if you're going on a solo mission, that's awful. That's a terrible position to be in when you're the Vi player. It's like, hey guys, I'm going, I'm all by myself. But you got the Ahri, you got the Rakan, and the Xayah can self-peel for herself in these situations either, so you don't necessarily have to play towards the Xayah unless you are forced to kite back. This gives Immortals a lot of dive power, and so 100 Thieves naturally going to respond with some anti-dive measure. Cyclone from the Wukong, Sion to stand there and be a giant meat shield.
See, I'm surprised you say that as anti-dive and more just counter-dive. Like, hey, we're going to kill your AD carry, right?
I mean, that works too.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we do get these top laners coming through, and Revenge going to be closing it out with the Gwen. A little bit heavy on the magic stacking, so that does incentivize Tenacity and Closer to go for more of these magic-resist defensive items that will make them a little bit tankier to take down. But there's such a big trade here, right? There's so many players on both sides who are going to be diving into the enemy backline. It's going to be really on Tactical and DoubleLift to try and survive for long periods of time. And I mean, on champions alone, you got to give that one to Tactical. He's playing the Xayah. That's the whole point of playing this champion. It's like, hey, you do your own thing, buddy. I will see you after the fight.
That's right. And a Tactical is going to be self-healing and using all of these UAs and sees the game the way that Busio sees the game. And the growth that they have experienced together has been probably one of the most awesome things to see unravel for this 100 Thieves squad.
I mean, you say that, that is true. DoubleLift has said all of that, but my favorite memory of DoubleLift talking about Busio was when they first played in Champions Queue together. I watched DoubleLift because, oh, who is this? Busio? That's the first thing you ever said about the guy. He didn't know.
He didn't know.
But Tenacity, also starting off with the Ruby Crystal here, this oftentimes means that there's going to be some kind of cheesy start coming through for the Sion. We did see yesterday, in a very similar situation, Tenacity did get his recall stopped after going for a level 1 invade by Chime. Doesn't look to be making the same kind of early play this time, but he's actually sticking around for quite a while.
Where are you going, Milan?
It's not going to be late, but it is going to be a situation where you have to kind of ask, like, what is the plan here? It looks like they are going to be going in for a level 1 invade. Tactical and Fleshy not going to be able to respond as they're already cut out. And Kenvi, does he know?
Kenvi is suspicious of something, yep. Well, and now he's seen, he's like, hey guys, there's 2 people in my jungle. My wolves are gone. I'm starting top side of the map.
Yep. All right, have fun. You guys do your own thing. That is going to be the wolves taken away as well. Good read from Under Thieves, knowing that Kenvi cannot come in at all. But this is really good from Revenge as well, walking into bush in order to make sure the wave is pushing towards him.
And this is an accelerated clear now for Closer because Tenacity can tank up both of these camps, and then once he dies, he can help accelerate the clear even faster. So Closer is about to get 3 camps before Kenvi even barely finishes 1 camp. Closer will hit level 3, and he can pressure for a dive on the bottom side of the map. Fleshy and Tactical are in big trouble right now.
They are in a world of hurt, right? Getting all 3 levels off of those 3 camps does mean that there is a big potential dive, and Tenacity can die, and he still contributes.
I mean, if Immortals want to prevent this dive, they should have teleported at least Revenge or Bolulu earlier, but they're just eating this one. They're just going to make the best what they can do, and 100 Thieves pull out a damn good height. Only losing Tenacity, but it's a double for DoubleLift.
DoubleLift getting 2 right off the bat. Tenacity teleports up towards the top side. Look at all those minions that are denied as well. That was a beautiful setup coming through for 100 Thieves. It looked practiced. It looked good. And now, what is this? 2 camps only for Kenvi. So come to the other side of the map to try and at least recoup some of the things he lost, but Closer's on his way.
And he's barely hitting level 3 right now, but Closer has already eclipsed Kenvi in terms of the pressure that he's gotten just from the sacrifice that Tenacity was able to do on this Sion pick. And he bullies him off the blue buff as well because he knows he can't fight Closer. He has a longsword advantage over him.
I mean, more importantly, Kenvi doesn't even have a smite, so he can't try and smite it away. That's going to be Closer coming up with a big lead, and it feels like 100 Thieves, they are well on their way. Remember, they got to win this game if they want to try and play for that 3rd place tiebreaker. But as we take another look at this, I mean, what do you do at this point from Fleshy Tactical? There's not a whole lot. Your team needs to be teleporting to try and support you, but if that doesn't go well, if you don't get a big turnaround there, then and they just back away, it's just a huge commitment already gone. And I gotta say, for Tenacity, I mean, he's complaining about playing like a female dog. He's like, what are these guys doing? We're just gonna come in, clean them all up. Woof, woof, woof.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Closer, they're all having a good laugh about that one. And Tenacity probably just thinking, wow, that was a lot easier than I expected.
We could try that. We should try that, you and me.
That is a fun flex strat to try.
Yeah.
I imagine the people that we run in and we do that, they're gonna be like, why are you guys sweating so hard in a flex game for what, man? It's like,
we saw it on LCS.
We saw it on LCS, man. We gotta try to be like 100
Thieves. The question is, are we carrier? Are our teammates
no,
T1?
Hell no.
All right, well, crap. I guess we can't do it. Either way.
I mean, maybe Cubby can be carrier.
Maybe Cubby can be carrier. But as we start taking a look at this, it does come at a big deficit here for Tenacity.
DoubleLift forced to burn the heal just from the threat of Fleshy getting in range with that grand entrance. I summoned a burn from the side of Immortals bot lane.
I mean, good attempt from Fleshy, but we do got to talk about the real thing, right? Revenge is now up a lot up in the top lane, right? There's no catch-up EXP in the lanes, it's only in the jungle, and so there's definitely a spot where Tenacity is going to be, well, yes, he does get the 2 assists, yes, he gets some opportunities to farm underneath his turret. It is now going to be taking the power that DoubleLift has and giving Revenge about half of that, right? He is going to have a lot of opportunity to be really strong. And we were already saying, if you're going to be trading out the AD carries later on in the game, Revenge is going to be Thanos. He's just going to snap and people are going to fall off the map.
That's right. And we'll see if that gamble from Immortals can pay off. As 100 Thieves in a 3v3 against Immortals right now. Tactical forced to retreat, still has Flash and Cleanse, but gets away from the trap, so he doesn't have to burn either. Closer's going to be sticking around, seeing if Immortals will still bite.
Yeah, tactical. Got to be careful of a potential hook coming through. It looks like he's daring him. Busio, I dare you to hook me.
Oh, and he dodges the hook. He just steps forward. Busio wasn't expecting that. The ball breaker flash from Kenvi, aggressively stepping on forward. They clean up the kill. Fleshy dodges the zap. And now 100 Thieves don't get anything off that play.
And Immortals have fired right on back, giving some money right on over to Tactical and Fleshy, all in the mid lane.
Bjergsen looking for Bolulu's help. He still has Spirit Rush, but Bolulu is not phased by it, doesn't have to burn the Spirit Rush, but does give Bjergsen an option to fight for mid priority. Maybe they'll look for the dragon, and that is the result of it.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves, because IMT were too low. Fleshy does have to leave. Kenvi chooses to back away, not going to be able to contest for this dragon. It's a little bit later than what we were seeing in our previous series, our previous game of Dignitons versus Golden Guardians, but still, 100 Thieves going to be grabbing things up, and suddenly, this game is very, very interesting, right? We were already looking at how our two AD carries were going to be able to perform. DoubleLift with that double kill gets a CS lead, but it's also a spot where Tactical, as soon as they are able to back away and spend this gold, will get to fight again. But this is where I was saying, like, Tactical is like, he's walking so far. He knows Busio is right here, and even if that hook lands, I think the bigger problem is as soon as this comes through, Busio needs to instantly flash as soon as he sees the ball breaker come through. DoubleLift barely missing out.
And you know what's... If you're an Immortals fan, what's beautiful about that Vaultbreaker flash from Kenvi? 2 weeks ago, Kenvi was in a similar situation, almost looked for it. Oh man, Revenge almost getting the kill on Tenacity. But Kenvi, similar situation 2 weeks ago, had the Vaultbreaker for a flash opportunity, didn't go for it, hesitated.
Yeah.
This time around, he knows that, like, why not? I just need to commit. This is the growth. Small things. Yes, Immortal season is over, but when you are looking forward to the summer and rebuilding for that, these are the moments, these are the games where you might look at them and say, oh yeah, they're a throwaway game, it doesn't matter for them. These are the ones where you can look to grow the most. Yeah. Just try things because you're not going to get punished for it.
It's also a little bit closer to the Kenvi that we knew before we even joined the LCS.
That's right.
That's the kind of guy that we were looking for to be super aggressive. And like you said, Immortal, win or lose this game, they end up getting 9th. It does not matter for them, so they got to look for these big opportunities to showcase what they can do. And again, Revenge, I gotta go back to that because we already looked at the fact they were up about 20 CS when Tenacity was going back towards the top lane. They've actually grown it. It's now up to 40 CS, and we are seeing a tour in force coming out from 100 Thieves. They're gonna try and get Tenacity out of that lane state.
That is not a fun time to be in. Tenacity will at least share some XP and CS with both Bjergsen and Busio. They're gonna translate their power over to this Rift Herald, but Immortals also want to fight for it.
And DoubleLift is cut out, right? It is so hard for DoubleLift to actually try and join this fight. The team needs to create some safety for him, and so Busio comes up, says, hey, come here, my child. We are ready to go on over to the Rift Herald, and now IMT forced into a front-to-back style team fight. They just go!
Fleshy flash into the grand entrance. Bjergsen stalls them with a great timber stun, and that stops Immortals' attempt to look for the pick. Closer following up beautifully with the Cyclone, stops anything that Immortals were looking for.
Fleshy only level 5, doesn't have the quickness, cannot actually lock up any of these 100 Thieves members. That's another kill going over to DoubleLift, a kill going over to Tenacity, bring him back to a much more even position. But DoubleLift, we asked, was he going to be able to survive the dive? That answer was absolutely yes. There was no real threat coming through from IMT. They give over this Rift Herald. But the game is still relatively even, Mark. It's not as though the game has suddenly been blown open. There's still a lot of tools for IMT to try and fight back. You just got to make sure you land some of that crowd control.
Yeah, and that's all just because the fulcrum of power for 100 Thieves versus Immortals is on different spectrums. You have DoubleLift insanely accelerated, whereas Revenge got all this free time to farm into a tank matchup. Yeah. So now Gwen is the big hope for Immortals as the game goes further and further beyond. Is that a blue lock gif?
Is that the soccer one?
Yeah, well, it's one of the soccer ones.
One of the soccer ones.
Yeah, there's 2.
Yeah, I know you're trying to show me those before. But we'll take another look at this fight. Yet again, remember, Fleshy still only level 5, thinks he has an opportunity to jump onto both Busio and DoubleLift before they join the rest of the team. And he does get both of them, but the charm from Bolulu goes just wide, doesn't catch DoubleLift, and Kenvi dies before he can do anything at all in that fight. 2 members effectively gone before the fight really even begins, and Immortals just have to walk away licking their wounds. And so the question then becomes, how are they going to start allocating their members on the map? Because it is going to be one of these spots where you need to try and keep Tenacity down, because the rest of 100 Thieves have already become so strong.
I mean, poor Tenacity is just barely coming by components. He's
like a hot dog on a summer's day. He's just sitting there panting. It's like, yeah, where's the lemonade? I mean, there's not a whole lot for him to do in this game. He's going to be like this big tank standing up in front, but he's not going to be as big as a tank as he potentially wants. Now Kenvi, once again, looking for potential flank.
Busio's going to scout it out.
Hello.
Force Kenvi to retreat and at least give up some of this position. The next dragon is coming up in the next 40 seconds here. 100 Thieves have control of the river. Where do Immortals play through?
I mean, we've said it a couple times, it's got to be revenge at some point. You got to send Kenvi up there to make that play happen. But the other thing that I kind of want to look at this game, Mark, is the fact that so far, a lot of the games that 100 Thieves have been winning recently is, even though they have been winning, they've been swindles. They got to try and, you know, be professional grifters in order to try and take any of these games down.
Manny Sanchez.
Yeah, speaking of Manny Sanchez, shout out to production. They gotta look for all of these big options to try and find weird plays in order to take away some of these big team fights. They're no longer playing with a deficit. This is 100 Thieves where they actually set the tempo, and that synergy that they've been talking about building up over the past couple of months is really going to matter. As now we see IMT, they're not playing towards revenge, just saying, hey, you're doing a good enough job on your own. We're gonna try and make some plays in the mid lane, maybe get Bolulu to become a threat, and also try and equalize on these dragons.
So far, Immortals have done a decent job of regaining control of the river. They're going to start up the dragon, and the control ward will give a brief bit of vision on this pit before 100 Thieves now lose sight of it.
Rift Herald.
But the Rift Herald is now going to force Immortals to say, hey, do you want to lose your tower, or do you actually want to fight us over this dragon pit? And Immortals are staying committed. Bolulu on the right flank, looking for DoubleLift. Decent assist and flash, and that's the combo we were talking about! Bolulu and Kenvi syncing up to take out DoubleLift, but now Immortals have to deal with the rest of 100 Thieves. Kenvi still alive, but cannot survive as Bjergsen takes him down with one last fire blast.
I mean, that's exactly kind of what we were looking at from some of these fights. Both AD carries just forgotten about, right? Just left behind. And now 100 Thieves, because they still have Annie in the back pocket, who still just has his Tibbers, who is wailing away the entire time. They walk away with an extra member, and we have to remember, Closer also getting 2 effective kills by dropping the Rift Herald down in the bottom lane. That's effectively a 4-for-1 coming through 400 Thieves. They also walk away with the Dragon. They're now 2 to the soul. Great stuff.
Yeah, and the other big thing, too, since Revenge is the one that has a majority of the gold and the power scale,
he's not even that far ahead anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's not been able to maintain that lead. Tenacity's been able to catch up as well. And because Revenge was on the top side of the map, the idea is that, hey, we trade marksman for marksman, then our Gwen comes and cleans up. But the Gwen is not here. And so all the remaining power is left on the Bolulu and Kenvi, and they're not able to deal with the rest of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, so we got to start off, right? Bolulu and Kenvi did the thing that we said they needed to do, but we got to look at how Tactical actually gets caught here on the other side, because Closer instantly jumps in because Tactical is so focused on trying to contribute to the damage. He actually brings the Monkey right into the rest of the team so he can instantly turn around afterwards. That's one of those things Tactical just needs to accept, that he is going to die, get as much as he can, because his team is not going to be able to save him as soon as Annie and the Wukong get on top of him.
That's right. We are now almost 14 minutes into the game where the turret plates will cease to exist. And 100 Thieves will look to continue maintaining this control that they have seemingly exerted over Immortals. The next Rift Herald is about to spawn soon as they're getting ready.
Yeah, 100 Thieves. I mean, they've been looking super good this game so far in the way that they've actually been fighting. You can't really even fault DoubleLift for that last one. He's just like, yeah, I guess he was too close, but like, you know, what do you do? It do what it do. And so far, as we take a look at the gold, he is still the richest man on the map. We have Closer and Bjergsen not far behind. When you start seeing gold leads like this, the funny thing is that Tenacity, like, he doesn't have a whole lot of money, but it's not as though Revenge is miles ahead of him. Like, Revenge going with this Riftmaker, he's going to be doing some damage there. but he's still got a long time to go before he's this really big damage threat who can turn around after killing some of these AD carries. And so, as we look at how 100 Thieves like draft plan is going to be evolving, I kind of want to go back to the fact that we were very critical of a lot of these more veteran players and closer Bjergsen DoubleLift throughout most of the regular season. But so far, I mean, it feels as though closer and DoubleLift in particular stepping up this game super hard as they have had over the past week and a half.
Yeah, even yesterday, Bjergsen had a hell of a game on the Ahri as well. I think one of the coolest plays this season was that charm prediction on Sion's flash as well. And it's been a growing pain season for 100 Thieves as well, but even their more experienced members have finally seemingly have found their footing once again when it matters most near the tail end of the season. This Rift Herald goes over to them. Immortals, no chance for a contest.
Yeah, and Bjergsen in the perfect spot to make sure that IMT cannot come in, even though Bjergsen going with the Rod of Ages build in order to be a little bit more tanky, more sustained during some of these fights. He still does a lot of damage. He's still got a big potential stun that he can lay down on multiple members. IMT, they don't actually have a true tank in this entire composition. Everybody is going to get blown up almost instantly. So as long as Bjergsen is not in line of sight, they can't do a whole lot. But Revenge?
Trying to trip down Tenacity, but Tenacity's doing a decent job of actually dodging out on the center part of those snips, where that is a majority of the damage is going to be coming from Revenge, as well as the true damage.
Yeah. So Revenge, I mean, we'll be looking for more opportunities, but it is definitely a spot where I kind of feel as though Tenacity, as we were talking about before, was not playing even to his own standards earlier in the year, right? He said very, very clearly with less polite language, you know, that he was able to run everybody up in the top lane, except for maybe Fudge.
Yeah.
You know, but it was still one of those
Hard
spots where
Fudge.
Tenacity was so disappointed with some of his own play, and now this feels like a very different version of him, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't need to run my lane opponent. I don't need to go for everything there. Playing for the rest of the team, playing to make sure we have some of these good plans to actually make things happen. And even though he's suffering, I mean, this young player is still looking for opportunities to play for the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that's always a concern whenever a rookie joins the LCS for the first time, right? Especially if they are known as a carry player and they're in multiple team environments where they are the star, which, to be fair, Tenacity was on 100 Thieves.
So was Busio.
2020, Busio as well. And a lot of the reality check comes when they join the LCS. It's like, hey, you are no longer the carry of the team. You are no longer the best player in the league anymore. Now you have to adapt to the rest of the pool, the rest of your competition, and you need to have your ego bruised a little bit. And I think that is one of the things that Tenacity has taken in great stride over this regular season, as he has gone from trying to go tag.
Okay.
Can't do that, Bolulu.
Well, that's an ult missing couple seconds before the dragon actually spawns. Fleshy is trying to find a deep flank, but Bolulu's not going to be able to join in on the rest of the dive. Let's be real, Ahri is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage to this front line. He's not going to do a whole lot to Sion.
Nope. Now, Revenge is postured for a flank.
Oh, they go.
And cease and desist flash once again, all piled
He's
down.
alive.
But Busio keeps him alive, and a flash over the wall. Now he can still contribute damage over safely thanks to Busio saving his AD carry. And Immortals are now floundered. They are scattered multiple directions, and 100 Thieves deal with them super easily.
Honestly, the way that we were expecting these fights to go, so crucial. Bolulu not there, doesn't have the ult, doesn't have that little bit of extra damage to take down DoubleLift, and Busio, the instant flash over the wall, it's like, don't worry guys, I got this, make sure you come over to me. And just as we were looking at with Tactical getting caught a little bit earlier, right, DoubleLift's like, I don't need to contribute to this fight, I just need to not die, let me back up, there's no way I'm actually going to go down. And it's a great awareness from some of the veteran and rookie players coming in for 100 Thieves. This is part of why we've looked at them, right? It's kind of crazy that they could have been anywhere at the beginning of the day from like 3rd to 6th.
That's right.
This is definitely the kind of play of a team that's going to be 3rd.
And DoubleLift and Busio, once again, we talked about at the beginning of the game, the synergy is coming through. This was the support that DoubleLift said I don't want to join any other team if it doesn't have Busio on it as my support.
Yeah, well, taking a look at it, I mean, the thing before, Busio had already hooked this bush up on the top side.
He instantly knew.
He knows there's nobody over here. There's nobody that can potentially come over to try and get DoubleLift afterwards. Just need to get him out. Tactical left to the wolves yet again, which is what is supposed to be happening for this composition, but they don't have the damage left to take down DoubleLift. There's just enough left over, and these meatballs have gotten far enough ahead that without the tactical damage to try and stay alive, there's not a whole lot of hope left for IMT. And as we start looking at this, even though the gold lead isn't that large, because these team compositions try and do such similar things, whichever team has a small lead is actually miles ahead.
That's right. Because one of the big things we were looking at too, because of the way the early game played out, 100 Thieves made it clear, we are investing everything into DoubleLift getting accelerated this game. Tenacity being a little bit behind Revenge, we'll take that gamble. Immortals said, all right, Revenge, you have all of this time in the top lane to farm up. He has not hit that spike yet. And I don't know if Immortals are going to have enough time to actually stall out long enough, because 100 Thieves are at Soul Point.
Yep.
Soul comes up in 3 minutes. I don't think Revenge is going to hit the items necessary to be able to contest in that fight.
I mean, it's going to take a miracle from IMT. They got to try and find something a little bit crazy. And look at the vision control that has already come out, right? There's just so many more wards coming through for 100 Thieves. They're a little bit further pushed into the river, whereas most of IMT's wards are still on their side of the map. It makes it super hard for IMT to actually walk into these jungle quadrants. But as we say that, multiple members are, literally the entire team is here. That's the only way you can really do it. When you have that many members that you're not really worried, 100 Thieves are like, well, they're not top side. They're not in lane bottom. This is the only place you see the pings coming through. It's like, well, I guess they're gonna have to be there.
And Busio's gonna check. 200 IQ, baby.
That's what I'm saying, man. Busio was one of these big players. He was our most valuable prospect summer 2022 for a reason. This guy is Giga Brain coming through, and so, I mean, we'll see. There are things that Busio does as support that I don't think you really see from just about anybody else in the league. Well, he's not the most consistent player yet. It is one of those things where you see these inklings of brilliance where maybe he can catch up to Vulcan in terms of like prestige for North American sports.
Yeah, and you have to remember that Busio was a mid laner that role swapped over to support after the summer of 2020. His last team was playing mid lane for
They both look good.
Polar eSports. You know, what is it about mid laners role swapping to supports? Playing under the 100 Thieves banner.
I think it's because 100 Thieves is willing to be like, yeah, I don't know if you can do this as the mid laner, but you'd be a sick support coming through, and they've been right a couple of times. So now we'll see what else 100 Thieves can start pushing through. They're taking a little bit more control of this eastern quadrant of the jungle. They're all moving up as a team, and they have a lot of redundant crowd control, right? They're attacking the one member of IM2 who feels like they might still have an outside chance to take over this game, but if Revenge can't farm, he doesn't have a way to come through. I mean, Bolulu on the far side of the map, there's no potential response from IMT. They don't have enough vision control to even confidently try and attack somewhere else on the map.
Yeah. And for Immortals, they know the safest thing they can do is give up towers so that they can trade on the other side of the map, because this is the only way you're going to guarantee bursts of income for the carries that need to come online very, very, very fast.
So right now, IMT, they don't have any vision control around this upcoming dragon. You see a bunch of members from 100 Thieves looking to back away, spend all of this gold. Let's see, two items. Yeah, everybody here is on 2 items, whereas most of Immortal, that's a lot of 2s. Great golf score.
You know about golf score?
No.
I thought that was a cupping thing.
No, I know nothing about golf. I just know that its low numbers are good. IMT are doing better in golf than the number of items they have, but that's not a good thing here in League of Legends because they don't have the money really left to fight this at all. And as they start trying to group up, they will be here at the Soul first, but they don't have a lot of control over when fights are actually happening. Kenvi and Bolulu, they did have that one fantastic flank, but as we already looked at, wasn't enough. You need to be able to actually take some of these fights faster. And IMT, I'm going to look a lot at tactical this time around. He's moved in such a way that he is trying to play a more traditional marksman role with the rest of the team, but he literally doesn't need to do damage for the first half of the fight. He just needs to live.
That's right. Teleport coming up. Bjergsen has arrived. Make sure he is in position. Fleshy might be caught out here, forced to use both casts of Battle Dance just to escape.
And they lost control.
And they lost control of the choke point. That's tough.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot for IMT to really do from this position.
I mean, they're going to try to brute force their way in at some point. Revenge has to start poking and prodding.
Yeah.
But for 100 Thieves, they own this river. And the dragon, it hasn't even been started yet. They're more itching to fight rather than
Oh, look
taking
at
the
Bolulu,
dragon.
though. He's right over this wall.
Do they know? They take out the blast cone. Oh, Kenvi once again flash on the
There's
double
a
lift.
charge.
It's a two-pronged flank. Boom! Fleshy and Bolulu synced up, but can they deal with the rest of the fight? Tactical's still alive. Bolulu's getting
Tactical's
reset.
running.
He finds one more. And Tenacity is the only person that can take him down alongside Closer. But just like that, they think that if we can take out DoubleLift, we can win the fight. But 100 Thieves say, bro, we still have Bjergsen, we still have Closer, we still have Tenacity, and we still win this fight.
Yeah, and it's yet again another spot. They do exactly what they're supposed to. They're supposed to try and take down the AD carry, and they do. Bolulu and Kenvi once again syncing up exactly how you're supposed to. That's going to be Chemtech's soul going over to 100 Thieves at this point. They are just out fighting. And once again, I want to watch how Tactical kind of takes this place, right? Because IMT tries to make this big fight happen. But as everybody jumps on top, Tactical, I said he needs to live, but because there's no threat on him, he's expecting people to counter dive him. 100 Thieves say, no, we're going to go for it. Everybody else, if you're playing that defensively, you're not doing any damage anyway. 100 Thieves, great awareness in the fight to just dive on top. 3 kills go over to Closer.
DoubleLift is like, man.
I guess.
Hey guys, they got me again.
It's another Saturday night, I guess.
For 100 Thieves, I mean, they're realizing that there's been clearly one target on their mind, and DoubleLift has to just humbly accept his fate. But he knows that they keep winning the fight, and it's just one of those things like, okay, I don't get to play the game. Yeah, I guess I'll still win.
All right, kind of cringe, I guess, but you know, hey, do what it do. And now as the turrets start going down, 100 Thieves, very, very strong. As we do remember, we have a bunch of tiebreakers to go through.
Yep.
FlyQuest Cloud9, Battle for First come through. A lot of MVP implications still on the line for that one. But as these wards do get cleared out, 100 Thieves gonna start thinking about the Baron, trying to find a way to end the game, because there is the scaling threat. He's on your screen, Revenge. Best vlog content, but not the best performance so far this game.
He's trying his best. Revenge with the Cosmic Drive second item online. Maybe he can get a third item with the recent Golden Spike, but Kenvi cannot get in range. Baron is secured by 100 Thieves, and Kenvi takes the one-way trip as a last-ditch effort, but it's all for naught. The Baron is secured by 100 Thieves, and now they have pretty much all the tools they need to close out this game.
Yeah, 5,000 gold lead from 100 Thieves at this point, and now IMT. I think they're they're spotted. All right, never mind. You can be loud again. Everyone knows where they are. Closer does back away from that one, but we saw Revenge got a turret down the bottom side. It's a little bit of gold coming through, but again, it's definitely just a position where it feels as though 100 Thieves, they're just outperforming across the map. They're fighting a little bit better despite the great ideas from IMT coming through. Going all the way back to the beginning of the game, the early game plan coming through from Tenacity and Closer to go for the dive on Tactical and Fleshy, giving DoubleLift 2 kills, necessitates that IMT try and do the exact same thing, but it's just, they've gotten so much money at this point.
Yeah. And it's so difficult for Immortals. And I credit to them that they have executed the game plan, make DoubleLift have the worst time of his life every single time they pick a fight. But
he's not on TSM anymore. He's doing just fine.
100 Thieves moving on. The Baron on their side as now they look for the play on the Tenacity, but he just flashes away, being able to distance himself. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves now pressing the charge on the top side of the map. The tower will fall, and Immortals are just doing everything they can, but they've already used most of their engage tools on a tank. And that hasn't really worked out for them. One inhibitor will fall. The mid inhibitor would fall as well. And now 100 Thieves. They should be able to get one more. They just need to auto-attack it. All right.
And DoubleLift, I mean, he gets excited off of that. Teleport comes through from Tenacity to make sure that this wave can potentially crash as... it's Bjergsen.
That's a lot of damage. I mean, Revenge trying to keep himself alive with the mist, but he's forced to retreat. He's going to be able to recall, but I don't know if he can look for a teleport angle anymore. Bjergsen just wards him off, and this will be the third inhibitor of the match.
Yeah, that's all 3 inhibitors down at this point. Revenge can't do anything. Kenvi doesn't have his ultimate. Revenge doesn't have anything either. It doesn't feel as though IMT really have a way back into this. There's no potential teleports coming through. They're trying to stop things for a little bit, but their only real hope at this point, Mark, is you got to play for 2 more minutes. You got to survive. You got to farm up. At least you get a ton of waves, right? That's what Alessa's been saying. It's like, hey, don't take inhibitors before 20 minutes, but you're just going to give over a ton of farm, but there's not enough time.
Yeah.
And with the Elder Dragon spawning in a minute 40 at this point. IMT, like, Kenvi can flip a coin, maybe?
Maybe.
And if he gets heads, then they have a 50% chance to flip another coin, and then maybe they win the fight.
Or 100 Thieves are just gonna full send it down the mid lane. Here comes the Tenacity train. But Bolulu, you're gonna have to pop the Spirit Rush sooner or later, buddy. There goes. He's out of there. Oh, Super Mega Death Rock. Man, Fleshy jumping in just to intercept it. Bolulu had the flash because he thought that Fleshy was not going to be there in time for him. But 100 Thieves now are just going to look to cut members off and just try to end this game out in the next couple of minutes.
And without Blue's ultimate, right, we already saw what this kind of fight looked like earlier in the game around the second dragon. They tried to go for something. They tried to jump onto Doublelift, but they're missing that crucial extra member, that little bit of extra damage. And Busio is so good at this, marking where the flankers are. He knows where Fleshy is already, has that in that Gigabrain computer, and they just go forward.
Damn, Bolulu is gone. And full-on elimination from 100 Thieves, and they're going to look to take out members one by one. They look for Doublelift, but it's only a grand entrance. No damage behind that one. Doublelift now gets to flash forward and clean up every last member of Immortals off of his screen. He's going to take out the towers, and 100 Thieves will now move up to play in a tiebreaker for third.
The game ends like it starts, Mark. DoubleLift gets a double kill, finds another opportunity to come through, and honestly, great stuff. Great plan coming in from 100 Thieves. They understood the game plan from start to finish, from level 1. They understood what it was that IMT needed to do to try and win, and they put a stop to it every single time. Honestly, the way the 100 Thieves have been able to play, the old players, the new players coming together, it has been fantastic. And they make sure that Immortals doesn't give us another upset. I mean, we're only at 3 today. 4 would have been too much.
3's just right. Just right. And then that means we're going to get 3 more games after the, we get our interview, we get the lounge in on it as well.